Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Nick, and today we're finally diving in to the Friday the 13th franchise ranking. Yes, we just went through all of the films, reviewed them all, even a bonus one for Freddy vs. Jason. And now it's time to rank these. I am not alone, just like the reviews. I got my crew that's going to be putting out their rankings as well today. We got the boys over at Goodwill Hunting. We got Filthy Dan's film discussions. We got review and rankings with Robbie Sobel. And we got Moser movie reviews, all putting out rankings the same day as me, guys. So go check them out. And later tonight, if you're watching this during its premiere on Friday the 13th, August 13th, we were going to do a live ranking where we're going to take 13 YouTubers, including myself, and make a massive ultimate ranking by averaging out all of our rankings. And we'll be live discussing why we chose our choices. So that will be a lot of fun. Make sure to go check that out. That is going to be on Josh Weaver's channel, Camp Blood Media. I'll put links to everybody's ranking, plus the live show we're doing that night, Camp Blood Media. All the links will be in the description, guys. I'm pretty sure that no one's going to be putting Freddy vs. Jason in their ranking. I will just tell you where, when I get to it, I'll tell you where it places and why. But this isn't officially going to have Freddy vs. Jason on it. There's only going to be 11 spots. But like I said, I'll tell you where I'd put it, and I'll give you a little bit of feedback on that movie. And just a quick disclaimer, guys. This is my list, not your list. So more than likely, they're not going to line up perfectly. So don't get mad. It's just opinions, guys. Just let me know why you don't like my list or why you love it, and I'll be glad to talk with you down in the comments. So without wasting any more time, let's dive into Friday the 13th. So coming in at number 11, last place, is Jason Goes to Hell. This was, ironically, the very first Friday film I ever watched on TV in like the 90s. And yeah, it did not age well. When I was a kid, I didn't mind it, but now I kind of can't stand it. A lot of people hate that Jason's not in this movie. I hate it when they show Jason in this movie. I don't like his look. I don't like the way he grunts, and just his movements are so like almost Terminator like robotic. I think this is Kane Hodder's worst performance, even though he only gets like 15-20 minutes of screen time, if that. And while the whole body swapping thing is very different, I don't mind it. But yeah, it does not feel like a Friday the 13th film. We do get some badass kills in here, some badass gore, some even body horror with the guy like melting to the floor. The visuals are great, but everything else I hate. The director was straight out of college, Adam Marcus, when he made this movie, and it shows. It's very amateur-like in the tone and just the way everything's shot. I just don't like it at all. They add in a bunch of random-ass characters like Creighton Duke, who they act like we knew the whole time. And I personally don't like Creighton Duke. I know most people do, but I'm just not a fan of him. I find he's really weird and out of place. Just like this film. So yeah, it's last place for me. Coming in at number 10 is Jason X. Why did they think putting Jason in space was a good idea? I have no idea, but it wasn't. And this comes off more like a self-parody than an actual horror movie. It's not scary at all. The tone is way off and comedic. And yeah, this is a movie I put on if I just want to have a good time with my friends, drinking beer, and don't really pay attention to it. And at times, if you just glance here and there, it's an okay film. It's a bad movie, but it has some entertainment value. That's the reason why I put it above Jason Goes to Hell. But it's still quite the mess. I hate Uber Jason, and I really don't like the regular looking Jason in this film either. Why can't they get his look right? Like every film they have to change it. Like goddamn. But yeah, this is pretty much just a stepping stone for them while they were making Freddy vs. Jason, and I can kind of tell. But yeah, just not for me. I do enjoy that how the actors seem to know that they're in a bad movie. That kind of brings it up for me a little bit because they're not taking it too seriously. And I think it would have been real bad if the characters and actors would have took this seriously, because it's just foolish. I do have to hand it to them though that what do you call it, virtual reality room or whatever, the holographic room is badass. I did like that part, but everything else is just So out of place. So coming in at number 9, we got Part 7, The New Blood. Now, I know this is like one of the fan favorites for some reason. I think it has a lot to do with nostalgia. A lot of people say they watch this on TV a lot. And yeah, I just don't have that nostalgia for it. And I just don't find it's a very good movie. In particular, the characters suck. They're the worst in the entire franchise, probably. They're so forgettable. Aside from Tina, of course, our main lead. She's okay. But everybody else is just plain and dull. The kills in this movie aren't very good at all. They were butchered by the MPAA. It's not really the director's fault or anything. They tried to make a good movie with kills, and it just never happened. Everything gets cut to right before they're about to get stabbed or killed, and we don't really get to see anything. Jason, though, does look super badass in this film. I love that they went the extra mile to put all of his injuries from before and have his spinal cord sticking out and everything. He looks really cool. Not going to take that away from this film. And the stunt work from Kane Hodder is incredible. The things he went through, like that, the whole burn scene is one of the best burnings in a movie ever. At times, Tina can seem like she's almost overpowering Jason, but it is nice to see him go up against someone that gives him a match anyway. But that ending, the worst ending of the entire franchise, with her dad popping up and grabbing Jason down, that's just so dumb. My least favorite defeat of Jason, and probably my least favorite set of characters that we follow. So that's what puts this movie way down there for me, guys. Coming in at number 8, we got Part 5, A New Beginning. Now this one is somewhat of a bad movie as well, but it is super entertaining. And it really gives you everything you want from a Friday movie. We get the nudity, we get a ton of kills, and a pretty badass Jason. When we think it's Jason. The reveal itself is super lame and ridiculous, though. The Roy Burns, like, they really could have tightened up that script and made it a better whodunit. I do have to say this is the weakest version of Tommy Jarvis that we get from Shepard. He's just really weirdly written. He's not very likable at all because he like has these crazy outbursts and whatnot. So I just wasn't feeling Tommy in this. But everything else is decent, and I have a really fun time with this. It has a good soundtrack, pretty good characters. I like all the patients that we follow. And yeah, there's some filler here. A lot of people get killed off that we never even spent time with, but it makes for a big body count. At number 7, we got Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Now I feel like this movie gets hated on incredibly, like, way too much. I do not understand it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And he's not in Manhattan most of the movie. He's on a boat. But I have to admit, I do enjoy the whole boat ride itself. Because, like, the kids have nowhere to go. Like, with Jason on a boat, it's actually a genius premise. It's just that they probably should have marketed it that way and not marketed it as a New York film. But when we do get to Manhattan, it is badass the last 20 minutes. I love that whole ending. Up until the sewers, and I'm kind of mixed on it. But I don't hate it like most people. Jason look in this one, his look is super badass to me. I know he looks like he's like slimy the whole film, but I love that look with his like nicotine looking mask. I have to admit, this is a film that I didn't love at first, but over the years I've really grown to love it, and it's definitely super entertaining and rewatchable. This is one of the ones I actually pop on more than others. And even the kills in this one aren't terrible. There's a lot of filler, I guess, but we still get like that sauna kill with the rock. We get obviously the head punch on Julius. That's always great. But my favorite is actually Kelly Hu's character on the dance floor. Eva, whatever her name is. She gets picked up and choked to life out of her. And then he slams her on the ground so friggin' hard. It just looks incredible. One of my favorite kills in the franchise. And yeah, I just feel like this movie gets way too much hate. Coming up next at number 6, we got the remake. Or the reboot, or the reimagining, whatever you want to call it. This is number 6. And yeah, this is the best looking Friday film. The cinematography is amazing, especially for a guy, well, I don't know who the cinematographer was, but the director was just making like music videos and that before this, aside from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. But yeah, he did a really good job for not being a real film director. Like, he only had one real movie under his belt before this one. Derek Mears plays a super badass Jason, real intimidating. He's a hunter, a gatherer, and like a runner, and he don't mess around. The first 20 minutes of this film is some of the best footage we get in the whole franchise, but I feel like they blew their load a little too early, and then the rest of the movie feels kind of dull to me. Like, I'm not really engaged for the rest of the runtime. Although we do get some stupendous scenes, if you know what I'm talking about. It's basically as sleazy as part 5 or even more. Basically, the only problems I have with this one is the rewatchability factor is pretty low for me. I hate the characters. Second least favorite group of characters aside from part 7. They're just so unlikable. Aside from maybe the maid lead and Jared Padalecki's character. They're okay, but everyone else, not a fan. Do not like the way they defeat Jason in this, and you get that cheap jump scare at the end, which doesn't land at all. And yeah, that's basically how I feel about this film. So guys, right now, this is where I would have put Freddy vs. Jason. It would have really been number 6 and Remake number 7. But since it's not technically officially in this list, I'm just going to place it here. I think this is another movie that gets way too much hate. It's not great. It's just a fun popcorn flick. It's like watching your favorite 2 wrestlers go at it in like a SmackDown or whatever the hell you call it nowadays. It's just a really fun time. The characters are a bit obnoxious though, and Jason steals all the kills. Freddy only gets 1, which is weird that this film feels way more like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, even though Jason's got all the body counts. And really another reason why I rank this so high is just because this is personally the film that got me into Friday the 13th, got me into the franchise like I love it now. I was aware of the franchise. I seen a few entries. It was okay. Wasn't a huge fan, but when this movie came out, I had to go back and watch them all, and I became a die-hard Friday fan. So I have to give this movie that nostalgia alone on it really raises the bar. And the epic fight at the end is this so fun to watch. The last 25 minutes or so, you just sit back and have an amazing time. It's brutal, it's crazy, over the top, but I don't expect anything less. Now back to our real ranking. At number 5, we got The OG from 1980. This is another one that grew on me a little bit more over the years. I always found this kind of basic, and it is a simple premise to this film. But I think it's executed pretty well. I do enjoy following all these characters around. They get a lot of hate too for being like these throwaway characters where I feel like they're better than half this franchise. Like Marcy and Brenda. I love spending time with all of them. The kills are pretty good, especially for the time. You got Marcy's axe kill, Kevin Bacon's arrow kill. Great stuff. We get Pamela Voorhees, played by Betsy Palmer. Amazing performance, is brilliant. She one of the best performances in the franchise. Things that bring it down though is things like the whodunit aspect was the whodunit aspect was very poorly executed. I think they should have really worked on that a bit before putting this movie out. But yeah, it's a fun movie. That whole ending with the decapitation is really fun, and you get one of the most iconic jump scares at the end with Alice in the boat. I will just say that Alice is the weakest female in this movie, and I found it really odd that she's the final girl, where I find Brenda, Marcy, and even Annie from the first all seem like way better choices. So guys, coming in at number 4, we got Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. It's too bad because the 3D gimmick, the aspect of this film, that's what kind of hurts it, ironically enough. Like, it's not great. The 3D does not look good, even when you're wearing the blue and red glasses. I've never seen this in true 3D because now they have it on for like real 3D TVs. I'd really like to see that, but yeah, it just didn't really work with this film. Everything else is good though. I really like Jason, Richard Brooker. We get a badass Jason who just seems big and intimidating. The iconic hockey mask comes from this film as well. And the final act, the final like roundabout with mine's blanking here. Chris Higgins. So many characters to remember. But yeah, the final battle with Chris Higgins and Jason is probably my favorite final act in the whole series. It's just so good, and that's the reason why this film is this high in my ranking. The first half of this movie can be a little slow, but I still don't mind it. We do have to wait almost like an hour before we get the kills rolling, but once they do, they don't stop till the end. And yeah, just a great iconic film. Coming in at number 3, we got Friday the 13th Part 2, Sackhead Jason. Now to me, Sackhead Jason is more frightening than Hockey Mask Jason. Not saying I prefer it, I'm just saying I think it looks scarier. Even though the guy does stumble around, he's a bit of a klutz. But imagine seeing out of that one little eye hole. But yeah, he is definitely frightening looking. And he gets some pretty badass kills in this, especially with like Mark in the wheelchair, or we get the spear shish kebab kill. The characters are an even better step up from the original. We get a ton of great characters. Unfortunately, half of the cast stay at the cabin and get wiped out while the other half go to the bar and they're saved. Until Ginny and Paul make it back and they have to confront Jason and hopefully not meet their demise. The whole final act of this is another great one. We get a really strong final girl in Ginny. She uses child psychology on Jason, which is really unique, seeing that he drowned as a kid and has mommy issues. And I like how she pretends to be Pamela until it fucks up and he realizes it's not really his mama. But yeah, just great film. The jump scare at the end of this one, I don't think is better than the first film, but I do believe it's more scary. Like, this one scared the shit out of me, the ending. Like, you just don't expect it, and the way Jason looks, that hillbilly look, it's scary. So coming in at number 2, guys, we got Friday the 13th, Part 4, The Final Chapter. Now, I know this is a lot of people's favorite, and it seems to be a fan favorite. It's a great film. And if I have to look at my list here, I'm pretty sure it's the best slasher out of all these films. With the kills and the way Jason stalks and kills them, I think it's done the best. Top 2 favorite kills in the whole franchise are from this film, where we get Jimbo with the meat cleaver in his face and the corkscrew in his hand, and Axel getting his head twisted around after getting sawed a bit. Brutal ass kills. And yeah, these kills are all brutal. Even the shower one, we get a lot of blood and guts. And when they kill off Jason himself, it's one of the craziest kills as well. You see his whole head split and shit. Definitely the best Jason defeat. We got a great group of characters, whether you're talking about the neighbors or the Jarvis family. Great acting, great characters. I just love hanging out with all these people, and it saddens me to see them go. Jason in this film is no joke. He chases people, he just rips people apart, and he is menacing as hell. My only little nitpick in this film is like certain scenes, like the "he's killing me" scene. The film plays it kind of so serious until that point, and it's like, it seems weird. It's cheesy. The same goes for the girl dying in the raft. I know she was freezing cold and almost died from that scene, but when she's getting killed and going like, I always found that look cheap and weird. And it just didn't come off as a cool kill to me. But beside those little nitpicks, this is a great ass film and one of the best slashers ever made. But coming in to number 1, the best, for me anyway, is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Yes, that is my favorite of the series. I know, it's not everybody's favorite, but it's mine. A lot of people love the final chapter, but this one just works for me. I love the little bit of meta humor in there. I love Jason coming back as a zombie, basically, the undead Jason. It just makes more sense when they're shooting him with shotguns and stuff, and he just keeps coming back. I'm like, yes! We get the best version of Tommy Jarvis in this one with Tom Matthews. He kills it in the role, and he's still portraying him in fan films because of it. The surrounding cast is great as well, whether you're talking about Megan or the camp counselors. They are great. Probably my favorite camp counselors out of all these films. It's like with Court and all them, they're so fun and entertaining. And funny enough, we actually get kids at camp in this one. Something we were missing in basically all of these movies. So that was a nice little touch that they threw in there. It's something they should have had before, honestly. This just feels such like a rock star film, and me being a metalhead, it just speaks to me. You got all the Alice Cooper tracks, and yeah, just the way it's filmed and looks, it's just a cool film. It almost feels like an MTV film. Funny enough, the kills aren't all that brutal in this one, but they all still work for me very well. They find unique ways to kill off people without the MPAA having to cut down the kills so you don't see anything. Yeah, just this film is just really cool to me, and it's been my favorite since the get-go. Since the first day I've watched it, this has been my favorite film. Prior to watching this, it was probably like 2003 or 4 when I watched this. My favorite was part 2. And yeah, this one passed it and hasn't looked back since. So that's my ranking, guys. Let me know down below what you think of it and how you would rank this franchise personally. You can add in Freddy vs. Jason if you feel like it. I would be glad to hear your thoughts on it. Also, don't forget to go check out all my other friends that put out rankings today as well. Like I said, links will be in the description. And go check out Camp Blood Media tonight, Friday night, where we'll be live ranking these bad boys all together. And if you wouldn't mind liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you want to follow me on this journey through these horror films and music and whatnot. And if you want to support me even further, you can go ahead and buy me a coffee. Links to all those will be in the description, as well as my Letterboxd account. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. But that's all I got for you guys today. Have a good one, and thanks for watching.